Maria?
Bring her to me.
During the hours of darkness, she must never be left alone.
Bring her to me.
Christopher Lee, Rupert Davis, Veronica Carlson, Hammer's new star discovery, Dracula's most beautiful victim. Dracula has risen from the grave. To resist him is useless. To rise against him is futile. To know him is eternal damnation. Dracula has risen from the grave.
You've got two friends of mine in that trailer.
Absolutely.
Veronica Carlson and the late James Bernard. Jimmy wrote most of the classic Hammer film scores and was a dear friend of mine for the last 7 years of his life. He left us much too soon, and there would be Sunday mornings when I'd be sitting watching bad westerns on TCM and get a phone call at 9 a.m., and it was from James Bernard calling from London, and we were wonderful friends. He was a very gifted composer and a marvelous human being. Veronica is among my most cherished friends. I first saw Veronica on the screen in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave at the old Regal Theater in the Oxford Circle of Northeast Philadelphia in 1968, and I remember my jaw dropping, which happens quite a lot in my life, when I first saw Veronica on screen and thought she was perhaps the most exquisite creature I had ever seen, and I never forgot her beauty or her charm. And then in 1990, I was at a FanX convention in Baltimore run by Gary and Sue Spela, and Veronica was among the guests, and I was walking through the corridor and past her speaking to some other fans who were surrounding her. And to be honest, I was just dumbstruck by her beauty and didn't have the nerve to speak with her, but call it karma, whatever. She turned around and started talking to me as though I had been an integral part of the conversation. And among other things, I write published poetry, and I asked her if she liked poetry. She said she loved it, and I asked her if she'd like to read my newest poem, a poem called Orphan of the Night, which was about a little homeless girl in the shadows, darting through the shadows of buildings on the streets of New York. And she said she'd love to, so I gave her the poem. Segue to 2 or 3 hours later, walking through the hallways again, and Veronica is making a beeline toward me. She has very long fingernails, and she grabbed my arm and dug her fingernails into my arm and pinched me. And I said, "What was that for?" And she said, "You made me cry." And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of our friendship.
Awesome.
Wow.
In fact, when Hurricane Sandy hit it several months ago, I had a phone call from Veronica. She left a message on my answer machine asking if I was okay. And she never left her name, but I heard this cultured female British accent, and I thought that can only be Veronica.
Nice.
So she left me her cell number, and I called her back. She answered the phone, and I didn't say hello. All I said was, "You never left your name." And she started laughing. She said, "I know, I forgot." I'll be seeing her in Pittsburgh, July 19th through the 21st at the Monster Bash Convention.